Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to do theorem 11.1.5. But before going into the description of the theorem, we need to revise a few concepts. The first concept is the corresponding angles. Okay, what are corresponding angles? As you have studied in previous classes, whenever we have two lines, suppose L and X, and there is a third line, L and X are parallel. Okay, two parallel lines L and X, and there's a third line M which is intersecting these two parallel lines. Now if you have such a situation that a line M is intersecting two parallel lines, then the angle which are formed between the parallel lines and this line which is intersecting, this is called transversal. Okay, the line intersecting these lines, the third line which is intersecting these two lines is called the transversal. Okay, so the angle which are formed between the transversal and these parallel lines, such that they are on the same side of the transversal, angle 1 and 2, if you observe them, they are on the same side of the transversal. Angle 1 is at the left side of the transversal, and angle 2 is also to the left sides of the to the left side of the triangle. And also they are one of the angle is formed in the interior of these parallel lines and the other is formed in the exterior. Okay, so if you have two such angles, then these angles are called corresponding angles. Okay, they lie on the same side of the transversal, and one of the angle is interior, the other is exterior, and one of the angle is between the transversal and the line L, and the other angle is between the transversal, the same transversal, and the line X. Such angles are called corresponding angles. Now if these two lines are parallel, L and X are parallel, then these corresponding angles are always congruent. Okay, this is the first result that we are going to use in this theorem. And the second definition that we need to know is that of a parallelogram. We know that parallelogram is a four-sided figure such that its opposite sides are parallel. Okay, AB is parallel to CD and AD is parallel to BC. If you have a four-sided figure having opposite sides parallel, then such figure is called a parallelogram. And it is a property of the parallelogram that its opposite sides are congruent also. We have already proved that in the previous theorems of chapter 11, the first theorem of this chapter. AB is congruent to CD and AD is congruent to BC. Okay, these are the results which we are going to use in this theorem. So let us start the theorem. Now theorem 11.1.5, the statement is if three or more parallel lines make congruent segment on a transversal, they also intercept congruent segment on any other line that cuts them. What does it mean is that if you have three or more lines which are parallel. Okay, so you have three parallel lines. The same can be proved for more than three lines. We are going to prove for three lines only, and the same result can easily be proved in the same way if the lines are more than three. So you have three lines A, B, C, D, E, F, and it is given that these three lines are parallel. This is the first thing, and the second thing is that there is a transversal. Okay, let me name it as L X. You have the transversal LX. Transversal is just another line which is cutting these three lines. Okay, so if these three lines make congruent segment on a transversal, congruent segment means that the portion of this transversal which is cut off by these parallel lines. Okay, MN is one segment. Okay, and NP is another segment which is cut off from this transversal LX by these three lines A, B, C, D, and E, F. So you have three lines are transversal, and these are the segment. MN is the first segment and P is the second segment. Now they are saying that if these two segments are congruent, okay, if these two means that if MN is congruent to NP, okay, then what it will tell us that if it happens that these two segments are congruent, then if you have another transversal, okay, some other transversal which we will name it as Q and Y. So if these three lines make these congruent segment MN and NP on one transversal, they will make congruent segment on any other transversal. Okay, for example, this is the second transversal, and these the segment which these parallel lines are making are RS is the first segment which these lines are making with this transversal, and ST is the second segment which these lines are making with this transversal. So if the segments of the first transversal are congruent, MN is congruent to NP, then the segment of any other transversal will also be congruent. Okay, so the same will be true for any other transversal which is cutting these three parallel lines. So for this, the summary of the theorem is that what we are going to do, we are going to construct two lines. The first line will be parallel to, we will construct a line RU from this point R, okay, and this line we will draw such that it becomes parallel to MN. Okay, these two are going to be parallel to, RU will be parallel to MN. Okay, these will be the two parallel lines. Similarly, we will be making one more line SV. Okay, and this we are going to construct in such a way that it becomes parallel to NP. Okay, so and then the first step will be this construction, and then we are going to get enough information to prove these two triangles RSU and SVT congruent. Okay, we are going to make these two triangles congruent, which will give us the result that RS is congruent to ST. Okay, so let us start the theorem. Now let us read the statement of the theorem again. If three or more parallel lines, okay, three lines make congruent segment. Congruent segment are these MN and NP, okay, on a transversal. This is a transversal. These are the three parallel lines they are talking about, and these two are the segments which they are telling us that if three or more parallel lines make congruent segment on a transversal, they also intercept means they also make congruent segment on any other line that cuts them. Okay, this is QY will be the other line which they are talking about, and we are going to prove that they also make congruent segment on this transversal also, that is RS is congruent to ST. Now according to the statement of the theorem, we are given three lines, three parallel lines, okay, AB, CD and EF. These are the three parallel lines. So AB, we have the line AB parallel to CD and the line CD parallel to EF. Okay, so these are the three parallel lines which are making these three lines intersected by a transversal LX. Okay, these are the three parallel lines, and this is the transversal which is intersecting these lines at the point M, N and P. At M, N and P. Okay, so we have three parallel lines A, B, C, D, E, F, and these three lines are intersected by this transversal at the point M, N and P, such that the segment formed are congruent. Okay, such that MN is congruent to NP. So it is given that this segment, these two segments are congruent. We have to prove that if there is another transversal QY, then the segment formed by this this transversal, the segment of this transversal will also be congruent. That is RS will be congruent to ST, and RY is another transversal intersecting RY is another transversal intersecting these lines at the points R, S and T. Okay, now we need to prove that RS segment is also congruent to ST. So in the given we have these three parallel lines, and this information is important. Okay, MN is congruent to NP. We are going to use this, and we have to prove that RS is congruent to ST. Now, in order to prove it, we will need some steps of construction, some helping steps. We are going to draw a line from the point R, which is parallel to MN. Okay, a line parallel to MN or parallel to LX, this whole transversal. We are going to make a line which is parallel to this transversal. These two lines are going to be parallel. Okay, so and name this point U, at which this line RU meets the line CD. Similarly, we are going to make a line SV parallel to this LX. Okay, so these two lines are also going to be parallel. SV will be parallel to LX, means it will be parallel to NP also, and RU is will be parallel to LX, that is it is going to be parallel to MN also. So in construction, and then we are going to name these angles 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, we will name this angle as 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me write the construction. What we did is draw a line R U parallel to LX. Okay, and meeting the line CD at the point U. Similarly, draw SV parallel to LX. Okay, both are parallel to LX. The line SV and RU. As they are parallel to LX, then RU will be parallel to MN also, and SV will be parallel to NP, because they are segment of the same transversal. Okay, so from here, from construction, we can say that RU is parallel to MN. Okay, these are the key points which we are going to use in the proof. And SV is parallel to NP. Okay, now these are the key points which we will be needing in the proof, so I will write them down in a short way. Now let's start the proof. Let me write the main points of the given that we are going to use. MN, it's congruent to NP. Okay, and it's given to us also, it is given that AB is parallel to NS, AB is parallel to CD. We could also write NS, and EF. These are the three parallel lines which are given to us, and we need to prove that RS is congruent to ST. RS is congruent to ST. Okay, and similarly from construction, we will pick these points, and use them in the proof. From construction, what we got, we drew two parallel lines, RU parallel to MN and SV parallel to NP. So RU is parallel to MN, okay, and SV is parallel to NP. Now let's start the proof here. Okay, ABCD, there are three parallel lines. It is given that MN is congruent to NP, and we need to prove that RS is congruent to ST. Also from construction, what we did was we drew RU parallel to MN and SV parallel to NP. Now proof of the theorem. Now we know that RU is parallel to MN, and it was obviously from construction, and AB is parallel to CD. It was given to us. Okay, so let me write this. MR is parallel to NU. Okay, it was given MR is parallel to NU because they are segment of these two lines which are parallel to one another. AB is parallel to CD, therefore MR, which is the segment of AB, will be parallel to NU, which is the segment from CD. So MR is parallel to NU. This is from the information which is given to us. And RU is parallel to MN. RU is parallel to MN. This is from the construction. Now, what does it tell? It means that MR is parallel to NU and RU is parallel to MN. It means that if you consider this quadrilateral MRUN, okay, MRNU, MRUN, this quadrilateral. This is a parallelogram because its opposite sides are parallel. These two were given to be parallel, and these two we have constructed them as parallel. Therefore, it means that MRNU is a parallelogram. MRNU is a, let me call this as the first equation. MRNU is a parallelogram. Okay, from the discussion 1. Okay, from this discussion we have got to know that MR and U is a parallelogram. Similarly, NU, this NS, similarly NS is parallel to PV. Okay, because these two lines are also parallel. So NS is parallel to PV, NS parallel to PV, okay, and SV is parallel to NP. SV is parallel to NP from the same reason as above. So we don't need to write anything here because we have written as similarly. Similarly means because of the same reason as we have written above. So NS is parallel to PV and SV is parallel to NP and NS is parallel to PV. It means that NSVP is a parallelogram. Okay, according to the definition of a parallelogram. So we have two parallelograms. NSVP is also a parallelogram. Okay, is a parallelogram. Let me mark it as 2 and this as 3. Okay, now if MRUN is a parallelogram, then we know from the properties of the parallelogram that the opposite sides of the parallelogram are always congruent. It means RU will be congruent to MN because these are the two opposite sides of this parallelogram. Similarly, SV will be congruent to NP because NSVP is a parallelogram. Okay, so let me write it. RU will be congruent to MN. Okay, RU will be congruent to MN because from 2, because RU and MN are the opposite sides of this parallelogram. Therefore, RU will be congruent to MN because opposite sides of a parallelogram are always congruent. Okay, opposite sides of a parallelogram, and SV will be congruent to NP. Okay, for the same reasons. Let me write similarly. Okay, so we don't need to waste time on its discussion because the discussion is the same as this one. Now this will be equation 4 and this is going to be equation 5. Okay, so what we have got here, RU is congruent to MN and SV is congruent to NP. Now we know that MN is congruent to NP. MN is congruent to NP. This was given to us. Okay, as it was given to us, MN is congruent to NP. Therefore, RU will be congruent to SV. Because these two segments are congruent, then these two are also going to be congruent because they MN is congruent to RU and NP is congruent to SV. Now, as MN is congruent to NP, it was given to us. Okay, MN is congruent to NP. Therefore, MN is congruent to RU. From this equation, RU will be congruent to SV. Okay, replacing MN by RU and NP by SV. What result do we get? We get that RU will be congruent to SV. Let me mark it as equation 6. Okay, we are going to use this in our proof. Let me write it here. RU will be congruent to SV. Okay, this is equation 6. Okay, now let's move to the next step. So we have proved that MRUN is a parallelogram. Therefore, RU is congruent to MN and SV is congruent to NP. As these two are congruent, therefore these two segments are also congruent. So we have proved that RU is congruent to SV. Okay, so far we have done that RU is congruent to SV. Now let's move further. Now if you look at the figure, RU and SV are two parallel lines because RU was parallel to LX, SV is also parallel to LX, so therefore they both of them will also be parallel to one another because they are parallel to the same transversal LX. Okay, now RU is parallel to SV because both are parallel to the transversal LX. Okay, we had done in construction. So RU is parallel to SV. Okay, this is the line. Let me extend these lines. Okay, okay, RU is one line, SV is another line. These are two parallel lines, and if you observe this transversal, this is cutting these two lines. Okay, let me erase this for a while, this line. Okay, I will draw it later so you can see clearly that these are the two parallel lines and this is a transversal which is cutting them. Now if you observe closely, angle 1 and 2 are the corresponding angles. Okay, two parallel lines are transversal which is cutting these two lines. Okay, these are the two parallel lines, this is a transversal cutting them. Then if you see angle 1 and 2, they are corresponding angles according to the definition which I have already explained. So angle 1 and 2 are corresponding angles, therefore they are going to be equal. Okay, angle 1 will be congruent to angle 2 because they are the corresponding angles formed by these two parallel lines. Okay, Now again look at the figure. This was angle 3. Okay, now observe these two parallel lines CD. Okay, CD and this line EF. Okay, these were parallel lines because it was given to us. And if you observe this transversal, okay, now these are two parallel lines and this is a transversal which is cutting them. Now if you see angle 4 and angle 3, okay, let me erase the rest so that I will draw it again. But now let me show you angle 3 and 4. These are two parallel lines and this is a transversal cutting them. Now if you observe, angle 3 and 4 are corresponding angles, therefore they are going to be equal. Okay, similarly angle 3 will be congruent to angle 4. Let me name it as equation 7 and this as equation 8 for the same reasons. Okay, so angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 and angle 3 is congruent to angle 4. Now coming to the triangles again, RU and this was SV. Okay, this was angle 1 and this is angle 2. Okay, now we will consider these two triangles and make them congruent by SAA postulate. Okay, what was SAA postulate? In SAA postulate, we take two angles and the side which is not the included angle, the included side of those angles. Okay, we are taking in SAA, we take two angles. Okay, and we take a side which is not the included side of these two. Okay, not the included side, be careful. Now taking these two triangles, okay, triangle RSV corresponds to triangle RSSTV. Now in these two triangles, RS, not V but U. Okay, RSU, this triangle RSU, I will take this triangle corresponding to STV and I will prove them congruent by SAA postulate. Okay, now in these two triangles, the side RU, okay, RU and SV are corresponding sides and also they are congruent by equation 6. Okay, we have proved that in equation 6, that RU is congruent to SV. RU is congruent to SV. This we have proved from equation 6. Okay, RU is congruent to SV. Also we have proved that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 and angle 3 is congruent to angle 4. This was from 7 and 8. Okay, so now you have RU congruent to SV. This was from equation 6 and angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, angle 3 is congruent to angle 4. Now you have two angles, okay, angle 1 and 3 of one triangle are congruent to the two angles of the other triangle, and the side which is congruent is not the included side of these two angles. Okay, the included side is this one RS on which these two angles lie. This is not the included side, so it means that we can this is the statement of the SAA postulate. You have a side which is the non-included side and two angles. Okay, 2 and 4 are two angles and we are taking the side SV which is not the included side of these two angles. So from SAA postulate, triangle RSU will be congruent to triangle STV. Okay, this is because of SAA postulate. From SAA postulate, RSU triangle is congruent to STV. Now if you observe, RS is corresponding to ST, so RS will be congruent to the side RS will be congruent to the side S. RS will be congruent to side ST because this is the corresponding sides of congruent triangles. Okay, corresponding sides of congruent triangles. So RS is congruent to ST, and that is what we needed to prove. Okay, so all we did was, first of all, these lines were parallel, AB and CD. Okay, and we drew a line RU. I'm just telling the summary of the whole theorem again. We are finished with the theorem. Okay, this is proof. RU, first of all we made the line RU parallel to MN, okay, which made this figure the parallelogram, and from here we got the from the properties of the parallelogram, what result we got? We got that MN is parallel to RU, is equal to RU, because these are the opposite side. Similarly, we formed the parallelogram this, and NP became congruent to SV. So these two were congruent, therefore these two also became congruent. So from here we got the side which we have used here. Okay, and from these two parallel lines and this transversal we got the angle 1